If you have a Black & Decker Workmate, you know how useful they can be. In this video, I'll show how I made this fully functional router table to use with my Workmate. This high-quality router table includes many features, such as an adjustable fence that can be moved to accommodate different router bit diameters, an easy movable fence to adjust the width of cut, a dust collection port, stock hold downs that are quick and easy to set, a router lift to set accurate bit height, and a magnetic paddle switch for safety shutdown. The router table was designed around this Jessam router lift. I remounted the wooden jaws on the Workmate to maximize the opening. At 6 inches, the opening is wide enough for the lift mechanism to fit between the jaws. The table is made from 2 pieces of 3/4 inch plywood cut to 24 by 36 inches. Here I'm cutting matching grooves in each piece that will be used to house steel bars. When the 2 halves are laminated together on a flat surface, the steel bars will keep the table flat. Using the micro adjuster on my radial arm saw, I can easily move the blade position to adjust the kerf width to fit the steel bars. After 2 passes, the grooves fit the steel bars perfectly. The steel bars are embedded in slow-set epoxy, which is placed in the grooves. Wood glue is sparingly applied to the plywood surfaces. Epoxy and wood glue is also applied to the other half, so the 2 layers can be laminated together. The lamination is made under heavy weight on a flat surface. When dry, the plywood edges can be trimmed flush. Setting the router base into the table is the most critical step of this project. To inset the base plate, I'll be using a straight plunge cut bit and guide bushing with my router. The template will need to be larger than the router base to account for the guide bushing. After drawing my template pattern, I'm making the template out of 3/4 inch thick MDF. I'm using a straight bit in my old router table to clean up the edges of the template. Take your time to make a smooth and accurate template. The final result is worth it. With the template firmly clamped in place, we're almost ready to cut the inset into the table. The depth of the inset will be slightly greater than the router plate, including metal strips I'm adding for the leveling screws to sit on. It's advisable to make a test cut in scrap plywood first to make sure you're happy with the template and fit. As shown, it's also good to include a center support to keep the router from tipping. The center can now be removed with a jigsaw. To clean up the rough cut, I'm temporarily attaching some wood to use a flush cut router bit. The table is turned upside down so the bearing of the bit rides against the wood strips. These steel bars are attached to keep the router base leveling screws from digging into the wood. Threaded inserts are installed in the corners to secure the router plate. The edges of the table are eased with a roundover bit. The router plate can now be precisely leveled with the table and secured with screws. The fence is also made from 3/4 inch plywood, ripped to size on my radial arm saw. Here I'm making the brackets that will hold the fence vertical to the base. My fence size is designed to work with these Jessam stock guides based on the mounting dimensions provided. The bracket locations are selected so they won't interfere with the dust shroud or the stock guide mounting screws. To make an adjustable fence, I'm using these new wood anchor sliding nuts which fit the slot made with the matching router bit. Cutting a 3/8 inch wide dado reduces the cutting load when milling the fixturing slot. The wood anchor slot bit and sliding nuts are great for making fences and various jigs. I've provided a link to them in the video description. With the position of the lower movable fence determined, the upper half of the fence can now be glued in place. Mainly for aesthetics, I like to taper the top of the fence. Mounting slots are needed in the fence base. After drilling the 1/4 inch end holes, the slots are finished with a router and guide, cutting from both sides. The fence can now be glued together on my assembly table using wedges to hold the pieces together. The supporting brackets are also glued and clamped in place. The router table will be attached to the Workmate using mounting pins made from 3/4 inch aluminum rod. Aluminum is easily cut on a saw with a carbide blade. Using my wood lathe, the aluminum pins are center drilled, countersunk, and chamfered. With the table positioned, the pins are located in the dog holes and screwed into place. A wooden mount for the paddle switch is screwed to the underside of the table. After finishing with stain and polyurethane, my new router table for the Workmate is now ready for use. I hope you found this project useful. Thanks for watching.